Are we finally in that era when it's okay to not lose our minds over superhero films and saying online that a large scale superhero movie can be bad and not have fandoms assemble in hordes to burn down the comment section like a mobilized zombie army? No, we're not, are we? Well, then I suppose this review may not make some of you that mad. Hey all, my name is Sucharita. Welcome back to my channel where today we're talking about Matt Shakman's The Fantastic Four First Steps, now in movie theaters. This film opens with a lovely, homey little sequence. Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards is looking for iodine in the bathroom. A few seconds later, his wife, Vanessa Kirby, playing Sue Storm, tells him she's pregnant. He isn't instantly jumping with joy. Instead, his scientific mind, even in this tender and emotional moment, goes to all the practical places. But we've been trying for so long. How are things going to change now? And once reality sets in, the first emotion he feels after joy is dread. You see, Reed Richards and Sue Storm have modified DNA thanks to a cosmic storm in outer space. Will their child be different? By showing us this most basic, if heteronormative, but more human than super side of the lead characters, Matt Shakman sets the mood for the film. Yes, there is going to be flying and magic and fantastical beings and nonsense science, but before that, this is going to try to be a story about people who don't always know what to do when faced with the unknown. And frankly, that I'm into. Sue's younger brother Johnny, played by Joseph Quinn, is the Human Torch, and their best friend Ben/The Thing is the internet's favorite cousin, Ebon Moss-Bachrach. If you grew up on Cartoon Network in early to mid-90s like me, you might know the lore of the four. But for those who don't, a lovely, clever little TV show that these four are featured on explains the origin story briefly without resorting to inexplicable fourth wall breaking voiceover. So, ye charo kaun hai, kya history hai, everything you'll find out. If you are a fan, of course, this film is like going to an amusement park. It is designed to bring you tingles of joy. But even for someone who isn't invested in the cultural phenomenon, The Fantastic Four First Steps may serve as an enjoyable, dramatic action film. I credit that to the genius casting choices for the four leads. Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach are hardcore dramatic actors, most popular for their work in drama. And as such, they imbue these silly characters with humanity that we saw a little glimmer of in Thunderbolts also. But then again, let's not get carried away. The attempt here is not to make this a James Mangold's Logan or Nolan's Batman. The colors are still bright, the tone is light, the gadgets are goofy, and a little robot periodically runs around saying Meep Moorp. But still, this is not a comedy. The laughs aren't cheap, and they are well earned when they do arrive sporadically. The tension literally begins to build from the very first scene that we just spoke about, the revelation of the pregnancy. This moment, oh my gosh, this moment leads to one of the most hardcore labor and birthing scenes I've seen in cinema, with Vanessa Kirby half flying, half strapped down, giving birth in the middle of a high-stakes action sequence in a spaceship that's actively in the middle of jumping between two dimensions while escaping a black hole. You get the tone? None of the above-mentioned scenarios are realistically ever going to happen. So it's very much fiction and fantasy. And yet Vanessa Kirby, playing a mother going through a difficult birth amid this silliness, almost gives all of this the hue of a wartime film. She later circles back to this moment of how much pain women are capable of enduring for the sake of their children in a very effective climax scene where she uses all her powers and then some, and you'll see when you see the film, to fight against Galactus, where she alone is stronger than the three men around her. Galactus, as you know, is the planet-eating villain who also is created here as a gentler bad guy. Unlike Lex Luthor in the rather underwhelming Superman film that just came out, Galactus doesn't make villainous faces and he doesn't laugh evilly. He eats planets simply because that's his food. There are different ways of interpreting this guy too. He could be a wild animal, just simply looking for a meal, and as such cannot be blamed for the bloodlust. Or he could be a genocidal regime hell-bent on conquering a land that they're obsessed with no regard for the people who live there and the lives they lead. The new Superman film also, which I just watched yesterday, alright, so it's fresh in my mind, it also had obvious parallels to the latter scenario. But unlike that film, here, in classic genre fashion, the bad guy wants to first arrive in New York City, destroy New York City, because that's where the protectors of the world live, apparently. This film also briefly talks about the perils of being a public figure, but not with much depth or larger interest. Largely, Matt Shakman, as he did with the WandaVision series, stays focused on the value of family and everything a woman is capable of doing to keep it together, including going over to the dark side if needed. The genocidal villain and the women who are protecting their children, it does draw stark comparison to actual women right now in the world who are fighting against tyrants trying to keep their children alive. The closing song of this film, that's made for this film, I think, it says, "Starving for comfort, starving for peace, take away our pain, let us be devoured." It's pretty intense, but make of that what you will. If you do decide to go watch the film, that once again tries to instill among its audience that America is #1 nation in the world. Maybe, one day soon, alag se, we'll explore and do a deep dive into the military entertainment complex and how far back this USA #1 rhetoric goes even. Anyway, for now, on a scale of 1 to 10, the Fantastic Four First Steps is one major appearance in the mid-credit scene. Please wait for. If you don't already know who that is, if you spend even 5 minutes on the internet, you know who's going to show up. I show up here every week, multiple times. My name is Sucharita. Before you leave, please subscribe to the channel. We're getting close to 200,000. And I'm really excited about that. I've got a lot of fun things planned for you. Thank you for stopping by.